Hey there anime lovers, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 upcoming anime of spring 2023. So far, we've seen some incredible anime that have set the tone for what's to come. We've seen the return of some of our favorite shows, like Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia Season 6 and Vinland Saga Season 2, as well as some new anime that have caught our attention. One thing that I've noticed is that there seems to be a greater emphasis on exploring different themes and genres. We're seeing anime that touch on more mature topics and are not afraid to tackle complex issues. Another trend that I've noticed is the increase in isekai anime. It seems like every season, there are more and more anime that take place in a fantasy world. While some may view this as a negative thing, I believe that each isekai anime brings something unique to the table. Overall, I'm very excited about the upcoming anime of 2023. With the diverse range of themes and genres, and the quality of animation, I believe that this year is going to be one of the best for anime yet. Let's head back to the point. Today I am going to talk about the top 10 upcoming spring anime of 2023. So, let's get started. At number 10, we have My Home Hero. My Home Hero is a manga series written by Naoki Yamakawa and illustrated by Masashi Asaki. The series has been well received for its engaging storyline, complex characters, and intense plot twists. The manga follows the story of a seemingly ordinary man named Shinomiya, who must confront his dark side and become a hero when his daughter's abusive boyfriend is killed in a violent altercation. The announcement of an anime adaptation has generated a lot of excitement among fans of the manga. If done well, the anime adaptation could bring this thrilling and emotional story to a wider audience. However, there is always a risk that the adaptation could fail to capture the depth and nuance of the original work. Overall, My Home Hero is a gripping and thought-provoking story that explores themes of family, violence, and redemption. If you enjoyed the manga, it is definitely worth checking out the upcoming anime adaptation. At number 9, we have A Galaxy Next Door, an anime that follows the journey of a young man Ikiru Kuga. Since his father died, manga artist Ikiru has barely scraped by, forced to support his two younger siblings on just a middle school education. He doesn't even have time to learn how to use a computer, which forces him to keep wrestling with pen and paper. When his art assistants quit to strike out on their own, on top of juggling deadlines, family, and the constant fear of losing his job, Ikiru feels close to a total breakdown. But then a new assistant pops into Ikiru's life, and his prospects immediately start to brighten. I don't know it's going to be a great anime series or not, but I can't wait to see it. At number 8, we have The Dangers in My Heart. When I was reading its plotline, this series reminded me of Bastard Webtoon, but for now let's talk about The Dangers in My Heart, an anime that follows Kyotaro Ikikawa, who may look like your average middle school student, but in his heart, he dreams of murder. Thus, it is no surprise that the one he wants to kill the most is never far off from his mind, the class idol, Anna Yamada. Reading alone in his beloved school library, he inadvertently begins to rendezvous with Yamada, who comes to secretly gorge on her beloved candies and sweets. Through their interactions, Ikikawa discovers just how much of a ditz Yamada is and can't help but support her from the sidelines. Meanwhile, Yamada herself can't help but tease Ikikawa relentlessly due to his flustered reactions. With an array of heartwarming daily interactions, the distant bond between the two grows into something more than just library acquaintances. Perhaps, in time, Ikikawa will come to realize that his murderous desires have turned into something else entirely. The animation of this series looks great and can't wait to see it. At number 7, we have Summoned to Another World for a second time. Isekai genre is getting more and more popular nowadays, and due to its popularity we can see one or two isekai anime in every fall, and I personally like isekai genre. Let's head back to our number 7 anime. There was once a man who was summoned to another world and saved it. Of course, he became too popular there and turned into an isekai normie. However, that man fell into a trap and was forcibly returned to his original world. Moreover, he had to start over as a baby. This is the story of the way to fantastic ex-hero who lived as a gloomy high schooler, as he gets summoned once again to that same other world in a very unexpected development. At number 6, we have Insomniacs After School. It all started with the death of one of the astronomy club's members. From this, the rumored ghost of the club came to life. Grumpy insomniac Ganta Nakami stumbles across the moderately rebellious yet easygoing Asaki Magari in the astronomy club's abandoned observatory. Magari is jolted awake and tries to escape from the scene, only to have a broken door prevent that, forcing the two inside. The two forge an unlikely friendship, leading them to use the observatory as a safe space for them to interact. Kimi wa Houkeigo Insomnia follows the insomniacs Nakami and Magari's time in the starlit observatory as they help each other cope with insomnia and the lasting effects it has on student life. At number 5, we have I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and Became Unrivaled in the Real World too. Here comes another Isekai anime which is going to be a great show. The story of this anime revolves around Yuya Tenjo, who is an overweight, short and meek high schooler who is bullied at school and tormented by his family except for his grandfather, who is the only person who cares for him. When his grandfather dies and leaves Yuya as the sole inheritor of his house, his parents expel him from home and force him to live there alone. But inside the house, Yuya discovers a portal to another world, where he obtains the power to change his life forever. Animation of this series is looking smooth and can't wait to see it. At number 4, we have Loving Yamada at level 999, an anime that follows Akane Kinoshita. After her boyfriend cheats on her with another girl he met in-game, Kinoshita learns the hard way that gamer boyfriends can be just as bad as the offline variety. As she vents her anger by beating mob monsters to a pulp, she has a chance encounter with Akito Yamada, a guildmate with an afro and no mask. Yamada is unsociable and curt, hardly the type of person to make Kinoshita swoon. However, while his gaming stats might be maxed out, Yamada is inexperienced in matters of the heart, and against all odds, she finds herself moved by him. Making new friends along the way, can Kinoshita shake the heart of Yamada, a final boss level high school boy? Number 3, we have Mashle, Magic and Muscles. To everyone else in his magic-dominated world, the young and powerless Mash Bernadette is a threat to the gene pool and must be purged. Living secretly in the forest, he spends every day training his body, building muscles strong enough to compete with magic itself. However, upon having his identity exposed and his peaceful life threatened, Mash begins his journey to becoming a divine visionary, a role so powerful that society would have no choice but to accept his existence. And so, in order to maintain his peaceful life, the magicless Mash enrolls in the prestigious Easton Magic Academy, competing against the children of some of the most powerful and elite in the realm. Lacking the very skill needed to survive at Easton Magic, Mash appears to already be at a disadvantage to his fellow classmates. In order to achieve his goals, Mash will have to fight his way through every trial, using his fists alone, overcoming magic with muscles, all for the illustrious title of Divine Visionary. At number 2, we have Oshi no Ko. Gynecologist Goro is tasked with helping deliver the children of Ai Hoshino, a Japanese idol whom he admires, without the knowledge of the general public. However, the night of Ai's delivery, Goro is murdered by a mysterious man and is reincarnated as Aquamarine Aqua Hoshino, Ai's son, retaining his memories of his previous life. Aqua's fraternal twin, Ruby Hoshino, is also a reincarnation, though she refuses to admit her original identity as one of Goro's patients who got him interested in Ai in the first place. 4 years later, Ai is murdered by an obsessive fan that later commits suicide. However, Aqua pieces together that the fan must have had his and Ruby's father as an accomplice and thus resolves to enter the acting world to find and kill his father. 12 years later, Aqua joins various productions to get DNA samples to test against his own. He eventually meets his half-brother, Yuhara Teiki, during a stage production, who tells Aqua that Yuhara's parents committed a double suicide, but Aqua learns that their suicide happened before Ai's murder. Aqua's girlfriend, Kirikawa, finds that the twins' actual father, Hikaru Kamiki, is alive, but Aqua cuts ties in an effort to protect her. At number 1, we have Hell's Paradise. The story follows the journey of a ruthless samurai named Gabimaru, who is on death row for committing heinous crimes. He is offered a chance to redeem himself by embarking on a dangerous mission to the mysterious island of Purgatory, where he and other criminals must find the elixir of immortality. The island is populated by deadly creatures and supernatural beings, and the mission quickly becomes a fight for survival. Gabimaru is aided by a ninja named Yamada, who also seeks the elixir to save her clan. Together, they must overcome the dangers of the island and the treachery of their fellow convicts to achieve their goals. The series is known for its graphic violence, intense action, and exploration of themes such as redemption, mortality, and the nature of humanity. It has received critical acclaim for its unique setting, complex characters, and stunning artwork. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the top 10 upcoming spring anime of 2023. Well, see you next time.